Battletech heavy tanks. Are they worth it? That is the question. That's the checklist we're going to build in this vlog. But first, a little bit of a narrative background of what was leading me to this question. So you guys know how this type of situation goes down. It's not just Battletech. It's any game that you play competitively with friends, but in a completely friendly manner. You lose a game. You lose it pretty bad. You start plotting, right? You lose it over the weekend. You're like, okay, Monday, if I get some reinforcements, I can get them here soon and then get them painted up and then spring them next week or the week after on the table. A little surprise. So in a Battletech game, I got beaten pretty bad, needed some reinforcements, and I ordered 2 Behemoth heavy tanks. And the Behemoth heavy tank, without getting too much into the tech manuals, 100 tons, more firepower than most assault mechs, massive slabs of armor, slower than an urban mech. It is slow, a tank. And this is the duality, the kiss of death duality. Urby and other mechs are slow, but they're mechs. You get a leg blown off, or you prop yourself up, or you get a leg blown off. Other bad things are also happening, especially if you're in the lower tonnage. But a vehicle, they live and die by motive hits. And I know I'm condensing things a little bit, but this idea, if you're new to Battletech, you look at raw battle value and say, well, vehicles, I can get more stuff, more weapons, more everything compared to mechs. Why not just take vehicles? Because the way the rules balance out, not only with elevation, line of sight, and other aspects, and some of the critical hits, they're a little bit more devastating on vehicles. Motive hits, and motive hits are where your treads get chewed up, you get immobilized, you get jammed. Tracked vehicles are very susceptible. Wheeled vehicles are extremely susceptible. So that's how it there's other factors, but that's kind of how it evens out from that perspective. So I picked up these 2 Behemoth tanks, and it was city fight. I was on the defensive. We were playing a campaign, and I made the mistake of setting up these 2 tanks on opposite sides of the table. I didn't know if my opponent was going to be on the right side or the left side. Put one on the left, put one on the right. There's always a learning curve. First time you play, you got to be experimenting. You got to be willing to experiment. You buy that mech, that vehicle, that unit. You have high hopes. You got to do like 3 or 4 or 5 games with it to really understand it and figure out how to play it. The mistake I made was, well, first of all, this is a slow tank. I put these massive tanks as anchors on either ends of the city, and when my opponent is coming in, they're not going to engage a Behemoth. They're just going to bypass it. They're going to run past it. And then I'm going to spend forever trying to get to the other side of the table. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario is they load up all their forces on a breakthrough, either on the left side or the right side of the table. Don't split your attack. I mean, there's reasons why, yes or no, both ways. And now there's only one Behemoth to take on everything, and they're still going to bypass that one Behemoth on the way to the center because the other Behemoth is on the other side of the table. Tactically, what I should have done was put them in the center. Put them in the center because I can always radiate out. No one is really, when you're looking to take a city, you're going from the outside in. And as you push in, you really don't want to move back out because then as you get to the outskirts of the city, you lose the density of that city. Maybe there's some forests, open plains. You want to move into the dense city. So those were the mistakes. But the framework. One Behemoth did engage, did pretty well, fought pretty well. The other one spent the entire game, and we're talking Battletech. I think we're talking like 12K battle value, inner sphere, not clans. 12K clans is like, I got 4 mechs. We had tons and tons of toys on the table. This was an entire day, literally. No better way to play Battletech or to spend a day. An entire day, literally, of this Behemoth. And I'm like, I'm getting over to the other side of the battle. Battle ends, we're still playing because I got to get to the other side. That's the framework. So in that example, even taking aside the massive mistakes that I made, and I've since learned greatly and play the Behemoth much better. I enjoy it actually as a tank, but it's still slow. It is slow. So is it worth taking the slow vehicles, really super heavy slow vehicles, because they are so susceptible to motive hits? And I'm not even talking about like ambush infantry that come out. I'm talking about like just a couple of warriors could easily side motive hit and take me out of the game, make me very sad face with that battle value expenditure. Would it have been better? Is there an upper ceiling, an upper echelon where you say, okay, I like the big guns, but like maybe I'll stop at Shrek level because I can get 2 or 3 Shreks, or at least 2, maybe 3, 2.5, 2.5 for every behemoth. Take some heavy tanks, take some big boom, take some powerful stuff, but know that limit where you can get 2 or 3 or 4 for the buy-in of 1 or 2, so you're spreading out the susceptibility to your motive hits. Big tanks. I love big tanks. I love big mechs. Too many fun toys to play in Battletech. But from that tactical perspective, are they worth it? Because the super slow speed with motive hits, that's a tough challenge.